At this time, if you would join me in welcoming the class of 2023 Don Alton Community College Tukaramashmaka graduates. Please enter. You see, you see something after familiar let's give you a round of applause. The gentleman with the hard hat signifies the completion in our apprenticeship program, just so you know, as they're making their way in, there's two of them. Please remain standing. And then I also just want to quickly recognize the faculty over here. Faculty, raise your hand and wave to the audience, please. Let them recognize. We have a few dignitaries here today, and then Ms. Debbie Hu from the State Department of Education. She's right over here. Debbie. He's the Vice Chairman of the Bulachi District. Where are you, Gordon? Raise your hand. Let's give him an applause, please. At this time, we would like to have the posting of the colors. So if you will remain steady, remove your hats. At this time, I would like to invite Yvette Ventura to sing the national anthem. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to our veterans from the veterans. If you remain standing, I will now introduce Lois Liston to provide the opening prayer.
Skirtašos ir moj natokam. Just aku mau haitu kubum. Aku nyai tu macam siu di haitu. Ama uat jadi tamu natok tu masma imut. Isap tahadak, sisa kita tahadak. Amu sejauh aja. Kita tas mak teman mati haitu kan. Sisa uat tas. Sister got dash. Was it up in Hodi? Was it itam a tudi eka the Hawaj itam? A mushroom dump. By Hamad after by Hamad go that. By Hamad after that. I will eat that object. I will kill that object. Consider object. Hawaj it was it. That's a Hamani, boy eat that chicken. A chicken. Lebih hal lagi, waktu macam, yang mau pertemuan tak, kalau itu tas yang mau itu cuy, tas yang mau habis mau itu macam macam, yang nak tu macam, boleh cerita macam ini macam, abe, tahun atom tu pernah macam macam, Kasi hama, apa ka? Tumupati mga ka. Just up. Muy takto sa ito. Ibitas. Ano?
You may be seated. Tracy Sapi working the culture of the awareness of the group of two kids, music kids, which is too much from Baboquivari, but you should have took it for all, for those, and stuff, and must be, actually, the took it a much more. At this time, I'm going to introduce, Dr. Paul Robertson for his address to the graduates today. Let's welcome Dr. Paul Robertson.
Thank you, Anselmo. My name is Jogi Paul Robinson, president of Auditorium Community College, and my task to welcome you here. We have a good crowd assembled here for one main purpose, and that is to recognize the achievements and celebrate with our graduating class of 2023. The largest graduating class that TOCC and San Carlos Apache College have ever had. And so we really do know that they have put in a lot of effort, made a lot of struggles, probably had to put other things off in order to do what they've done. And here they are today, and we're very excited to have them and to be able to celebrate it with them. I know that, as we always say at these things, but it's important to say them and to recognize the fact that nobody does these things alone. People have their support networks, they have their kinship networks, they have the people that they make a connection with in the colleges that they go to. Teachers, maybe a staff member, maybe an advisor, somebody who touches them in some way that helps them and inspires them to make it through. And I'm sure that's kind of the story for many of you who are here today. So assembled here to recognize what you've been able to do besides your kin and family and support groups, community members of the Topawa Legislative Council and District Councils, all of which have come together in a good way for many years to support Topawa Community College. And so your success, really, we're building on the strong support that is continuing from the nation and from other sources in order to make this possible. But I just want to, I'm very honored to be able to welcome you all here today to celebrate our graduating class of 2023. Thank you. And I'd like to ask the board chair, Dr. Baboquivari, to follow up.
I'm Baboquivari, si circuit Topawa, the Malorigid, Topawa, I to a good Amasham that they are either Takanamasham or Don Community College. The Bureaucratic Chairman, if you ask the Homos is good, that was it from Malorigid. To was it after moment, I didn't have keep them, had to augment Bismarck, and was it after me, how long to Mopasi and Masma. Me I won't eat them if I'm at the mushroom at that. Yeah, I'm to eat that to get a mushroom at them. And to get there, with the milk, he eat them to the height and what you will see to worth it, will see to go at them, how much them I will think it. I'm to get a will think it. The bear to jail, that after Robertson, will eat them was it that, eat them what her mom's jumping, that the Papa say, that way I eat them with that. Nabi Baboquivari, the Mohomo, you which the Board of Trustees, which you won't eat them on Murder to the Kakamasha, but Mohomo Yadata Jonas Robles, Mary Bliss, Trina Pardello, Betty Mohia Yutuan, Homo, Bernard Soteros, which I checked the okay. Version Jim, it's a explicit item, Selby Carol, they did it on with your not of the merchant that come with that. So, congratulations to the graduates. I'm very happy for you, very happy for all your families. I know that they're here because they've been a part of your education while you've been here with us. And of course, just real briefly, we acknowledge all of our faculty and staff at the college because they are there for you and for you to be able to get to this point. And we look forward to what you are going to be able to do once you leave the college. Do for yourself, do for your family, do for, of course, the nation and beyond. So I want to offer a congratulations, and of course I acknowledge the rest of our board of trustees for the rest of our audience. So congratulations to our graduates. I'm very happy for all of you. Thank you.
At this time, I would like to introduce Erica Hyman, our student speaker for this year's commencement. Will you please come to the stage, Erica? Please welcome her to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Tosh, hello. She'e Erica Kleiman Yenishe, very from Dan of Yusino Nishri, Kanasani Vashishchi, Mokadane Vashiche, Nakai Dane Vashina. My name is Erica Kleiman, and I'm from here from Lisa, Arizona. I am Danae, and ring from Dan of Louisiana Indian. Louisianos are one of the groups of the California Mission Indians. I was born into the Pairokawichon, which is what the Louisianos refer themselves to as people for us, for the Tamasani Tinker People Clan. I am a proud graduate of the Associate of Arts Life Sciences program here at Topawa Community College. I have waited for this day for a very long time. First, I would like to say a huge thank you to TOCC's Board of Trustees, TOCC's President, Dr. Paul Robertson, the Deans of Sustainability, Academics, Student Services, and Finance, the HIMBA Committee, the Commencement Committee, and the faculty and alumni here today. I would also like to thank Dawn Automation for making all this possible. I feel so proud to share this day with my fellow graduates, who inspire me with the ways they improve our world with their education. I am elated to be here with you today as we celebrate and graduate the Auburn Community College's class of 2023. When I got the call to make the speech, to be honest, I immediately felt nervous, but I'm truly honored. I'm also very honored to be a graduate of TOCC. I am quite satisfied with the education I've received here. Although the next step is to transfer to university, I seriously do not want to go. I want to stay and study art, psychology, and maybe even geographical information systems. My educational journey here at TOCC was very healing and uplifting. In addition to learning so much about science, math, history, art, psychology, I was fortunate enough to learn about the culture and values of the Alpine people. Besides the program requirements and the handout, there were other lessons that were given, such as Dr. Castor's lesson on how education is transformative and how it changes your life. Dr. Sharon Parker's lesson on grit, Mr. Josh Hoskinson's lesson on facing challenges, Mrs. Anna Marie Stevens' words on the importance of support systems and time management. Dr. Castor also had the same advice by saying, don't let time control you, you control the time. Ms. Cassandra Scott's words on perseverance, Mr. Dwayne Manuel's words on the importance of representation, Ms. Linda Chappelle's lesson on the power of art, Dr. Giselle Ramon Sabron's lesson on the importance of keeping and passing traditional knowledge. Congratulations, by the way. Mr. David Buxman's genuine words of encouragement, especially in the times of need. Dr. Jason Post's lessons on determination, thinking critically, facing your fears, and expanding your comfort zone. I am grateful for the Man of the Maze reflection, which was beautifully described by Mr. Camille Silvas in our science classes, and how it guided me through this education journey. I learned the truth of our tribal histories and philosophies, that our ceremonies, knowledge, and stories do have grounding in science. Our ancestors relied upon this knowledge to sustain lives and balance the universe since time immemorial. They observed the sun, stars, water, and animals, and could interpret the health of their environment, which is extensively guarded and shaped by land management techniques to provide a prolific abundance for all beings. They had a duty to care for our homelands and our life forms for generations to come. All people, animals, and plants were esteemed as equals. Our elders and ancestors also faced many adversities due to colonialism, the major Indian policy initiatives of the 19th, 20th, and 21st centuries. which included removal, allotment, reorganization, termination, self-determination, boarding schools, and a long list of broken treaties and promises. The historical and intergenerational trauma from these events still present itself in many ways: behavioral issues, coping mechanisms, all types of abuse, alcoholism, and numerous health issues. However, there is an advantage that we gain from all this. Life's greatest lessons are learned through pain. Life does not get easier or more forgiving. We just get stronger and more resilient. I would like to quote Ben Oakley: "The most authentic thing about us is our capacity to create, to overcome, to endure, to transform, and to thrive, and to be greater than our suffering." So our fight is far from over. Our current battles are with missing and murdered Indigenous persons, Indian Child Welfare Act, diabetes, loss of language and traditions, climate change, water contamination, mining waste, air pollution, healthcare, and education. Our efforts need to dismantle the system designed to oppress and dissolve our rightful ties to our language, our culture, and land. So thank you to my fellow classmates who sacrificed along with me. Thank you to our families and friends for always providing encouragement. To the instructors, faculty, financial aid, IT, library, advising, admissions, transitional support, and counseling. Thank you all for investing, teaching, involving, mentoring, and supporting the student body. You have gone all your way to help us whenever we had questions, needed guidance, and were always willing to share knowledge with us. And also thank you to the TOCC radio program for giving me a voice and a place to hold conversations to raise awareness. And a special thank you to my advisor and mentor, Dr. Tracy Berry, for always being supportive and guiding me in this educational journey. I would also like to thank my husband for being my comfort, my stability, and my home. So at this time, I'd like to offer congratulations to the class of 2023. Our hard work, dedication, and perseverance have paid off. May our experiences, education, and degrees be used for the benefit of all people and all beings. Mosape, ahere, thank you.
Dawai baik Teresa Choiwa, si sata mai Chiraka, from Hajima to Mosisi Tanda, from Ashu Mosisi Tanda. Please welcome Teresa Choiwa to the stage. Choiwa, Choiwa.
Well, this is a prestigious event, so excuse me. I am the alumni speaker. I do have 2 degrees from TOCC. One as an HFA for transfer, which I continued and got my bachelor's, and I came back specifically for the Thermal Open Studies Associate's degree, which I earned last year. I was the very first person to earn that degree. I'm very proud of that. And I just want to say, Tracy South, our previous student speaker with the support system that exists at TOCC, but I just want to acknowledge President, Mr. President, and also the Board of Regents for their support, and they've been through a lot of stuff too in the last year with losses and things of that nature, and yet we still move forward. Whoa. Many of us have survived the pandemic. For 2 years, we never saw each other. We were sad. I was like that. I was like, I see people now and I'm like, who are you? You know, and they take their mask and I'm like, it's you! You know, and it's so cute. And I wore a mask for a long time, so now I have a mustache. But it's okay, people still recognize me. And what I want to share with you, I just want to share a couple of things. I want to share that through that pandemic, I think a lot of us slowed down and we stepped back and we kind of took it, I hope a lot of us were able to think about our lives and reflect. During the pandemic, I had just had a stem cell transplant. I have a nasty cancer called multiple myeloma that's in my blood. So I had a transplant, and the pandemic hit. I was in isolation, so when the world went into isolation, I was already in isolation. I had no hair, I was at home, I didn't work for 7 months, and I really went through a lot of stuff. And I was gonna do this program with one of my friends. They do National Native Wellness Institute. And we had technical difficulties and I couldn't get on. And so my son said, he lives in Aho, he said, Mom, why don't you just go live on Facebook? I'll set you up and I'll blast it and whoever's gonna come on will come on. And this is like 10 minutes before the program. I said, okay, it's easy. When somebody asks me something, I'll say, oh yeah, okay, I'll do it, you know? So I thought, maybe 12 people would show up, maybe 10 people would show up. Over 200 people showed up. And it was amazing because Bashes was out of yeast, and then people brought yeast to my house and mailed it to me so I could bake bread. And the other amazing thing was people sent face masks, and the thing that I got to talk about that day was love. Because of the pandemic, many of us were able to express love in a way that we couldn't do before because we were too cool, or we don't have time for that. And I really felt that the world was full of love because we don't know what's going to happen. We never thought this thing would happen to us, right, in our lifetimes. So when you have that opportunity to speak of love, do it. Whether it's just in a touch, whether it's in a look, a wink, because you're passing by, you're busy, you're going someplace, you don't know how uplifting that is to a person, right? And I'm guessing right now you're thinking about somebody in your life that makes you feel that. Wow, I know I have that, and I'm very fortunate, and I'm really happy for that. And the other thing that came out during the pandemic that has stuck with me is kindness. I think people tended to be more kind. I think I reflected a lot on the type of woman I was, the type of person I was. How could I be better? A better friend, a better wife, a better mother, a better worker. And because of my illness, that if I wanted to be better at all of those things, that I had to put things in motion now. And at the same time, as autumn, and I'm not young, I'm an ox, and I was able to kind of reflect on my life too and stuff. And so I thought about my ju'abat. Her name was Anita Ju'iwa, and she was a Joaquin from Covered Wells. And Tracy Autumn, she just never spoke English very well. She probably had a 6th grade education, but she was the most amazing person that I've ever known. And so I want to share the story that I share about her. And my mom was one of those people. If she sat here between Dr. Robinson and Dr. Zepeda, she would start talking to them and asking them where they're from. She was just like that, how we are. And she would make connections, and she would just talk to people. So it was Mother's Day, and this was 80 something. And I went to visit my mom. It wasn't Mother's Day, it was the Monday after Mother's Day. I borrowed a truck to go see her. I was a student going to school then. I had just had a baby. I was so poor, I was on GA, I was on food stamps. When they still had stamps, remember when they had stamps? You had to tear them out of those books, remember? I sure found one in an old book the other day. Told Goody I'm gonna frame it and hang it up on the wall, just to appreciate how far we've come, right? So, I was, at that point in my life. And so I get to my mother's house and I apologize for not affording a present for her, and I don't know why we're like that, huh? Maybe it's that colonization that we learn about once we get to college, we want to celebrate that stuff. But anyway, and my mom was sitting in there making her baskets, you know, she didn't say anything. So anyway, so I'm there talking, and I said, oh, but I'll buy you something, Mom, I'll bring you a gift, you know. Then my sister walks in, and they start talking, and I'm like trying to not listen to them because they're talking about something, and my sister says, hey, Mom, did you hear that Nikki's pregnant? And Mom said, oh, from who? And they're talking, and it gets real juicy, and I'm listening, and I'm like, I can't stand it. And I said, who are you guys talking about? Those guys from Amazon or who? You know? And they just looked at me real funny, and they said, Young and the Restless. They were talking about soap opera. Hey, you know. Then my sister, you know, goes off, and then Mom and I are just there. And it was, I always remember, because you know how like sometimes when you're with your your elders and whoever, you don't need to speak. You just get medicine from being together and just being there. But so I was I started talking to my mom, then she started talking and said that she went to the clinic. She went to the clinic to dental. And she was, and I was sitting there, there's a little lady, and I was talking to her, and her name was Anita, which is my mother's name. She goes, oh, look at it, okay. She said, oh yeah. And I knew exactly what she was talking about. The late Anita Ruiz, you guys remember her from the community. She was a tiny lady, I think from Chucunuc district. And she was my friend. So they're talking, and I guess, they start talking about church, and Anita says to my mom, my mom asked her, where do you go to church? She goes, St. Mary's stuff in South. So my mom says, my daughter goes there. Maybe you know her. And Anita said to my mom, who's your daughter? And my mom never called me Teresa. She always, like she was mad. Teresa. Do you want to get that picture? But you get Teresa. And then Anita says, wow, Samajanik Teresa. Kaya iskagat uli, chimuli sabata, chimuli tawag the coach. And my mother was telling me this, and I said, wow, that was really nice of her to say. She said I was a good lady, that I was kind, and I was helpful. I was helpful to people. And I thought that was nice, so I just sat there. And a few minutes go by, and my mother says to me, she says, you know, Teresa, what this lady said about you, if other people say that about you, then you never have to give me a Mother's Day present, because that's my Mother's Day present. And I have that, you know, and we all have maybe some story like that. And when we go through the inevitable hard times that we will in our life, that we hold on to those things. And we hold on and just get through it. And it's about moving forward, people. It's about moving forward. So that story, it matters. Kindness matters. Who knew that my mother would ever meet this lady, my friend Anita? I never knew. But that how I conducted myself brought honor and pride and happiness to my mom, because I was looked at as a good woman. And I think that's all our people want for us. Our elders want that, to be good people. And so kindness. So remember that as you journey from this world, and that kindness matters immensely in whatever you do. Now, I also wanted to acknowledge the Apache that are here. Guys, raise your hand a little bit. Oh my God, Apache, you're probably my Facebook friend. Apaches are cool. I used to go, I do comedy, so they're very generous and they hire me and I go over there. I used to go there, they used to say, Kay, yeah. And later on they go, and I was just short. I was like, you guys are funny, they laugh. But I'm just, the Loopies are here, I know they're another family. Toonie, they just, Agatha and Auntie, Linda's here. And I know I met Naomi when we did something with the school. Remember we did that last year when we did anyway, I just wanted to say that. I'm just trying to act because Apaches are so good to me. I love it. One time I went to Apache country and I told my sister-in-law, my companion, she was traveling me. My sister said to me, Teresa, we're going to Apache country. we might get kidnapped. I said, yeah, we might like it. So, the other thing that I wanted to share too is joy. We don't think a lot about joy. And joy happens to us in the smallest ways sometimes. When we're with people, I think this last several months have been very, for me, being with people has been very like medicine. It's been so good. It's done something good to my spirit. I mean, don't get me wrong, all those months with my husband, I've been with my 40 years, you guys, 40 years. People clap and I'll say, don't clap, it's the same thing over and over, there's no variety. I just tease it, yeah, 40 years, it's been a long time. But I'm so glad we made it through that part. And so now it's time to be joyful again. And there's always moments of joy that we have, especially when we're together like we are today and we're able to see each other and to celebrate an accomplishment as wonderful as graduating from TOCC or earning a certificate. That is just so awesome. I'm so proud of all of you sitting there. I was sitting there last year and I was just all happy. And then I got more happy when they gave me this. And then, I'm more happy because I have this now. It's so pretty. I get pots, you guys, so I'm getting some inspiration right here. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up, and I just want us to laugh together before I go. And my friend, where he came in the other day, he was talking to me. He told me this joke. And then he told me, I told him years ago. I said, okay, well, I'm gonna take it back. So he said, hi, the ladies. They're friends. They're always hang out, they talk, and they visit. And they always talk about this man, Swapir, from Judy Kaiwan. I don't know, maybe he owned cows, I don't know. But he was handsome. They always talked about him. No, he was at Kaiwan, he was at the best at Nordic. And who was he dancing with? He was dancing with my cousin, but he grew up with me, right? You know, that kind of conversation. So they always talk, he was always a point of interest for them, right? So one day they get together, and somebody said, hey, Naktakamba, cousin Drew Kaiwan. What happened to him? Moo out the Kaiwan. And the other lady said, moo? It's an awesome one, right? Okay. So yeah, so it's not funny, but if you're awesome here, it's funny. So, when I was taking advanced Sono Autumn, we had to do a portfolio of short stories, and Jeremy Johns was our instructor. And my kids were visiting one day, and I was lazy. Tracy spotted them. I didn't want to do my homework. I had to turn in a story. So I decided just to optimize one of my jokes and turn it in. And so I was reading it the other day. I was going to bring it and read it to you so I could impress you with my husband, my height, but I was like, it's too much work. And I probably will mess up. And look at me, I'm already sweating because I'm nervous. My mustache, remember, I got my COVID mustache. And it's an old joke, and those of you that know it, if you laugh, great. If you don't, it's okay. But there was my brother told me this. Do you guys know my brother? His name's Gabriel. But a lot of people call him Choya Man, right? And did you know they put signs, street signs in cells now, on some part of cells? And Choya Man lives on Choya Lane. He's my only brother, I love him. But, so he told me this story, and he's like funny, my brother's so funny. And he's funny looking too, so he's like double bonus. And so I always just like to tease him, he's my guy. But he told me the story about there was a community, and all the Autumn lived on one side, and the non-Autumn lived on this side. And when a car went by, all the dogs would get up and chase the cars. Well, Well, what are they gonna do when they catch it? I don't know. So anyways, there will be 2 dogs left with Tracy Hu and Mungina. They turn around, and one was an awesome dog from Jiggy Husi. Husi of Tracy Smurda. He was the fastest awesome dog around. And so he's coming, and then beside him was a Miragan dog. His name was Todd. Todd was blonde, he had blue eyes, freckles, you know, he's the awesome. Wow, see Miragan. And so they're coming, and Todd's looking at Husi. Goes, hey Husi, you guys don't say it right. He goes, what do you mean? Oh, no. Husi goes, huh? Because you awesome dogs, you chase those cars and you say, ruff, ruff, ruff. You're supposed to say bow wow. And Lucy said, bow wow? Yeah, because you awesome dogs, you don't say it right. But they were kind of running, you know, they kind of got back to their friends. Todd went over there, Lucy went over here, and all of Lucy's friends are like, hey, Shopper, Chucky, how's Todd? What did he say? What did he say? Hey, I'm okay, but actually, I'm Ginger. Actually, I'm moving the monkey man. We say ruff ruff, that jump bow wow. And the dogs just laughed, and they thought it was the funniest thing. All of a sudden, here comes another car, and all the dogs jumped up and they start chasing it. And Lucy's in the front, he's running, but he's muerta que Lucy. He's saying, bow wow, bow wow. And all the dogs are like, hey, that's a joke, Lucy! Not the good boy! And Lucy's right saying, bow wow! And the dogs are like, hey, we have to take him to a mock guy. He needs a whistle. Something's wrong with him. Tracy, look at Lucy! Bow wow! Then he turns around and goes, my Apache friends, he turns around and says, kidding, yeah? Okay, so I'm Teresa. I love being an other woman. I love being a mom. I love being a woman to my man. I love our land. I want to express my love to all of you today in whatever capacity that you're here to support as a graduate, as the foundation of the college. This college is really a dream. It's really something that was thought of and brought forward, and I am so proud to be an alumni of Topawa Community College. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Teresa. We appreciate those words and humor that you have provided for us today for the class of 2023. At this time, I would like to introduce our keynote speaker, Mr. Jacob Moore. Welcome into the stage. Welcome into the stage.
How do you polish a girl? You just took all my jokes. Skasiera. Mr. Chomwig, on your ticket, Jacob Moore. On your ticket, Dakota, Akmirafam. I'm Jacob Moore, the Associate Vice President of Tribal Relations for Arizona State University, go ASU. Even more about being in Wildcat territory, I said it's Sun Devil territory too. I'm a citizen of the Topawa Nation and a member of the Chippewa District. My mother was my own kid-born her mother, Jane Packard, was from Cheyenne River in South Dakota. Her father, Jacob Bighorn, but actually was Bighorn, and then they took back their traditional name. Jacob Probel Sr. was from the Fort Peck, Assiniboine Reservation in northeastern Montana, Yankton, Dakota. he was a farmer, he had a wheat farm and horses, and so I used to spend my summers up there, baling hay and fixing fence and helping out during the harvest season. My father was Josiah Marbat, and his mother was Francis Lopez Bach, who was born in Pozo Verde. And my father's family has ties to Rancho, outside of the Baboquivari. My father's cousins come from the Lopez family. Juan Lopez is my dad's cousin, as his father and my grandmother, it was her brother. Juan's dad was my grandmother's brother. And Josiah's father, who was Parkmore, but he was originally from Gila Crossing and Gila River. And Park was a lay minister, and he presided over a Presbyterian church in Santa Rosa in the early 1940s, when Josiah was just a kid. And then he later presided over a church in Darwin Wells outside of Apo. And Josiah and his brother David Moore, later in life, he was also known as Captain Coffee. David and Josiah graduated from high school in Apo. So go Red Raiders. They made a conscious decision. They started working in the mine, and between the two of them, they decided that one should go to college, and the other would help pay for his education, stay in the mine. I was fortunate that it was Josiah that had the opportunity to first go to Arizona State, first Phoenix College in the late 50s, and then Arizona State in the early 60s. So I grew up in Sells when there was a Lowe's store and a high store. If you remember the Lowe's store and the high store, then you were born before the 1970s. I'm a proud graduate of Indian Oasis Elementary and Junior High School. And when I was in high school, we moved to Tempe, and I graduated from Marcos Peniza in Tempe. We moved away from Sells when Josiah took a job as an academic counselor at Mesa Community College. He went on to teach English class at Arizona State before there was American Indian Studies, an English class for American Indian students. Josiah went on to the Arizona Department of Education, originally in bilingual education, and then director of the Office of Indian Education at Arizona Department of Education. And then he came back to the nation, and he ran for office, for the office of chairman, and was elected chairman of the Papago tribe, what was then Papago tribe, in 1982. And it was during his administration, and I think Teresa was there during that time also. It was when the tribe revised its constitution and took off its traditional name to become the Dawn Nation. And he was then again elected in 1990 for a second term. There was a time in between there when he was in an office. So this is about the graduates. This is about you, and this is your day. But I don't want to make this about me, but oftentimes I get asked about my own experience in terms of how I got to where I am and my own path to education, which was later in life. My transition to the city was terrible. I never felt that I fit in there, and I struggled with school. I went from being all up classmates, that I grew up with, from first grade all the way to high school, to now being, maybe one of 10 native and even less Alton students in a high school that had 1,500, 2,000 students. And so, it wasn't really something that I felt good about. And it was odd because my father was an educator, but I wasn't interested in school. I must have had some sense of math because I took pride and I graduated at the top of the bottom fourth of my class, which meant that a lot of my friends were either below me or didn't graduate at all. And, when I was here in Sells, I had skipped second grade. So obviously was doing okay from first grade and went to third, but that meant that I was 17 when I graduated from high school. And I enrolled in Fort Lewis College mainly to get away from home. And I had a great time. I got to play a lot of basketball in the gym and a lot of Indian tournaments, basketball tournaments, and going to powwows. But unfortunately, I missed a lot of classes and I never really applied myself, you know, in my first chance at college. And then my grades were terrible. So I came back to Arizona and, you know, I was academically eligible to go back. And so my dad made it clear that, you know, I wasn't going to go to school, that I needed to go to work. And so I took an entry-level position with what was then Valley National Bank while he was working at the department I worked in downtown Phoenix. Was the Chase Bank. I think that building's even not even open right now. But I was in banking for 15 years as a bookkeeper, as a teller in foreign exchange, worked my way to an operations officer position through Valley National, then United, and then United became Citibank, and Citibank became Norwest Bank, and now Norwest Bank is Wells Fargo. So I went through 3 mergers and acquisitions in 9 years, and I was starting to train college graduates that were coming in, where it took me 15 years to get there without a degree. During this time, you know, Josiah was in his second term in office, and he was diagnosed with colon cancer in the fall of 1992, and he passed in the spring of 1993, about 6 months after his diagnosis. And when he passed, people were asking me, you know, what are you going to do? And, you know, I was fortunate at that time, you know, to have someone like Topawa, who did all of the heavy lifting. That sometimes we look to our parents or our grandparents to be the ones to carry the load, you know, to carry the mantle of the responsibilities, you know, of our families, of our communities, of our nation, of our people. And it reminded me that, you know, I made a promise, you know, that I would go back. I thought, well, I guess this is the time. Not only to go back to school, but this idea to work for tribes. I've never worked for tribes before. I was 35 years old, and so got an opportunity to take a severance package from, you know, from the bank, which was going through another merger. And so I signed up for classes at Mesa Community College. And that first step, you know, up the curve, on the curve to campus was hard, because I didn't have a good experience before. You know, we all kind of blow it off, you know, when we're not given that kind of opportunity or understand, you know, our you know, what it means to get an education. And so why we kind of, you know, blow it off that, well, I got a back grade, it's not that big of a deal, it does hurt. And you carry that with inside you. And so that was the hardest part, was to get started. And so I took all of my 101s, my 102s, you know, my English, my math, my science. The understanding was I'm older, you know, hopefully a little bit more mature. But I know what it's like to work, to go into the office at 8 and, you know, work until 5 and trying to stay on that schedule, not leave early, go home, you know, lay on the couch, think about doing my homework later. But mainly this idea that I didn't want to get a master's degree. And, you know, something that was important, but I also knew that you needed to start with the basics. You got to start from scratch. You know, even in basketball or baseball or in sports, sometimes your game is off. You know, your swing isn't right, or you're not hitting your free throw, so you go back to the basics. You learn, you know, really the basics of that foundation of what you need in order to do those things that you want to elevate. And you can't elevate until you have that part down. And so, you know, whether it's writing, what kind of writing, You know, is it doing research papers, or is it writing an article? Is it math? What kind of math? Is it, for me, it was basic math, you know, and then beginning algebra to intermediate to college algebra, knowing that if I was going to pursue a degree in business, which I did, you know, required calculus and statistics and higher level math classes, but I couldn't even think about doing those until I started with these basics. So I've been out of college for 20 years, out of high school for 20 years. So I had algebra in high school, you know, even then I didn't really quite understand it, but it was 20 years later. So I spent 3 years at 90 credit hours, so basically in college. It was great, I was poor, but, you know, I was learning. You know, I grew up in a generation where we didn't have computers when we were in school. You know, in high school we had typewriters. So the idea of storing a file, what does that mean? You know, so taking Windows classes and you know, technology's gotten so advanced, but that's why folks from my generation kind of struggle with that, because we didn't grow up with it, not like the young ones that just grew up with this stuff. So, you know, at age 35, I started over, and then in 99, I did earn that bachelor's degree in finance. I went first to the Intertribal Council and did some internships there under John Lewis and Alberta Topawa, you know, who had been long time friends of my father, Josiah Buck, and all the work that they did, you know, in tribal government. And then went to Salt River, came to Maricopa, and as the economic development analyst, and worked on commercial leasing and farm and on-site leases for the tribe, especially along the 101 freeway there, and then into the president's office as chief of staff. It was actually, you know, council member Vivian Wan Saunders, who was my classmate in high school, that was there at the time, and she was coming back to work for the college. She said, your dad, you know, Josiah wanted this college, that was one of his vision, and so, among others, but she said that I'm obligated to come back because they've asked me to return home. So she said, you should consider taking this job, you know, which was in the chief of staff in Intergov. And I didn't feel like I was ready. I hadn't worked with tribes that long, and I thought, well, maybe I'll just apply for it just for the fun of it. And even if I don't get it, then I'll at least get a chance to know what it's like to go through that kind of interview. So I ended up getting the job. But then I went back in 2008, well, in 2006, and got an executive MBA, you know, from ASU as well. And now I work in the president's office at a place that one time I wasn't academically eligible to attend. So, you know, I didn't fly there and think, you know, this is it's like a prison. I see all these walls, you know, and around these buildings, and it's like a fortress, and I don't know how to get in there, but I'm going to figure it out. So what did I learn? You know, in going back to school, you know, what I learned is just how to study. What I figured out is that if you study, you get good grades. I didn't know that before, you know, as I started to apply myself, and I was doing my homework, and then I took a test, and I got an A. It's like, how did that happen? But there are, you know, there are tricks to studying, how to do your homework, and how to know, you know, how to read and how to write and how to prepare for class on a regular basis. And then the other is that 50% of the learning when you go into college is not in the classroom. It's understanding the system, what it takes in order to get all the resources that you need, the tutoring, the meetings with your faculty when you don't understand the math, and you don't understand the concept. It's doing your FAFSA. It's knowing what is your tribal scholarship deadlines are when you have to get everything submitted so you can get your paperwork done. What is your program of study? What are the classes that you're supposed to take so that you can get to graduations quicker? Don't do like me, don't take 90 credit hours at the community college level and then transfer, because, you know, I only needed 68. That was a whole another year of classes that I didn't have to take, that I could have taken, you know, and maybe paid for, you know, toward that master's. And I was also afraid to make that step to the big show, you know, whether it's University of Arizona or Harvard University, you know, you're ready, you know, you're ready for that step to go to the big show, because it is big, and you know, you have the luxury of being in a small campus, but you know, you could easily get lost in these big campuses, but you know where to find me. So if you come to ASU, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, if you go that way, you know, I'll be there to support you. And then again, concentrating on the basics in terms of understanding what the reading, the writing, the math, because those are also important. And then what college teaches you is how to think. It teaches you how to become problem solvers. It doesn't matter what your degree is, but it's helping you think differently in the way that you look at problems, but also to be innovative, and to be creative, and to work with other people. Some people don't work good with other people, but you have to learn how to work with other people. And how to overcome adversity. I hear people say that person, he got a degree in business, or she got a degree in biology. That they didn't get a degree, they earned it. You earned it. You know, you worked for it. You sacrificed for it. So take pride in the fact that this is a mark of your ability to overcome all the challenges that were put before you to get to those chairs that you're in today. So tips, imagine your future possible self. What is that? What is that self that you see within yourself that you're trying to achieve in the process? And know what that looks like, and know what that feels like, so that you're ready. You know that when you have those hard times, that you know what it looks like. And speak of your intentions to the world. Tell people what that is. Don't keep it to yourself, because we're more likely to be successful at it if we tell somebody. If we just keep it to ourselves, it's easy to walk away and say, oh, I didn't really want that. But if you really do, you know, let the world know that this is what I'm going to do, because then it puts you in a position where you have to, you know, it's up to you. But also, you know, you've let people know that this is what I'm going to do. And in those, you know, in school, advocate for yourself. Don't be shy. If you have a question, if you don't understand, ask your professor. And professors love to have students come to talk to them. This is what they've studied their life, you know, their work, and they want to teach you. And if you don't understand, you know, don't be afraid to ask. And then confidence. It's incremental. We all, you know, suffer sometimes from a lack of confidence. But for me, it was one test score. It was one grade. It was 1 year at a time. And each time it helped build my confidence that I could do this. So there was never any guarantee, you know, that I thought that I could get through this. But over time, it's like, yeah, I think I can. And then if you're going to show up, show up. You know, if you're going to do it, then do it. Don't just do it halfway. Don't just come and sit in the back of the class and not participate. You know, don't waste your time. Don't waste the class's time. If you're going to be there, be there. Be there 100%. So, kind of moving toward closing is that, you know, the benefit of having Topawa Community College is having the culture, the Topawa, you know, built into your learning, your teaching, your understanding. That's unique. The universities, those institutions were not made for us. You have to find a place there, but this place was made for you. When we helped San Carlos get started, we came in with San Carlos Apache College, we came and met with, you know, with the faculty and staff here at TOCC, and that was the question that came up, is how do you get, you know, the culture into the institution? And the response was, we don't put the culture in the institution, we put the institution in the culture. That we're all in it, you know, and we have to embody it. Don't just know what it is, but know how to live it. And, you know, know that your family, your community, they benefit from your academic success, that you will have a positive impact on the future generations of your family. Just as Josiah went to college, you know, it opened that door for me to do the same. So your children, your grandchildren will learn from your modeling. But also, you know, whatever income we make, you know, when we asked our students at ASU, why do you go to college? They had 10 options, and one of them was to make money. That was the lowest one. Response. The other one we thought would be the highest, is because, you know, to do work for my community. But that wasn't the highest one. The highest response was because people depend on me, that you have people that are depending on you. And so, these are the reasons why we were motivated, to go get these degrees, and that whatever money we make, we end up sharing. We're helping to pay for our funeral expenses, or helping out a family member, to set some rules in terms of, I'll lend you this once, if you pay me back, I'll lend you again, but don't ask me the second time. And so, know that in the Southwest, mainly New Mexico and Arizona, have the strongest fluent speakers of indigenous languages in the country, other than Alaska. And again, can I get a round of applause for the Alton language and and it's important, and again, while I'm not fluent in the language, I know that it's not just an understanding of the language, I understand that it's a window into the cultural teachings. It's the Alton wisdom, it's the songs and the stories that carry the lessons in how to be, and the metaphors of knowledge that are being passed down from generation, to generation, from time immemorial. So, the education that you earn through this college that is embedded in your culture, along with that ability to weave, the deeply rooted and strong Alton traditional teachings, can prepare you to be fierce, to be capable of taking on and overcoming any challenges that lie ahead of you. And, take care of yourself. Treat yourself well, find balance. Be ready for the heavy lifting. Take on those big challenges that face our communities. Find your voice. Find your gift. The Creator's given each of one of us a gift. And it's there. It's within you. And know that your nation needs you. To borrow from John F. Kennedy, who said, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. So same with the nation. That's not what the nation can do for you, but what can you do for the nation to help protect it and help in the future generations. So in closing, live up to the vision and the purpose of Auditorium Community College and all those that came before you that helped set this path and help clear the way for you. Congratulations, graduates. Take time to celebrate and make sure that you thank those that helped you on your journey. Know that commencement on the program, it says Commencement Ceremony. The definition of commencement isn't the end, it's the beginning. So this is a beginning for you. So, and good luck in your future endeavors. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate those words, encouragement, Mr. Moore, and to the graduates in recognizing what they've accomplished. And now that we say, this is your day, graduates, this is your day. So at this time, I would like to introduce the Dean of Academics, Dr. Laura Sucho Montes. Laura Sucho Montes will be presenting the degrees to all of our graduates.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Before we start with the degrees, I would like to invite Dr. Hamilton Kita and Ms. Kimberly Danny to the stage. We have an award to present.
Thank you, Dr. and congratulations, graduates one more time. My name is Hamid Keita, and I'm the chemistry professor at Topawa Community College. Today, I have the honor to present the Science Student Award of the Year. the Science Student Award of the Year goes to Erika Kenya. Erika Kenya. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. The faculty in science mentioned that when they were trying to think about who this person would be, all of them thought about Erika. So congratulations, Erika. Okay, so we would like to start with those students who were not able to be with us today. They are virtually joining us. And we're going to start with an Associate of Arts in Elementary Education, Jolene Wilson. Associate of Arts in Liberal Arts, Christopher Julian with high honors. Associate of Arts in Life Science, Jamie Siqueiro. Associate of Arts in Social Work, Alison Asplin with high honors. Catherine Watman with high honors. Associate of Business in Business Administration, Todd Bean. Brittany Everly with high honors. Jenny Exiri. Elisa Macias. Associate of Science in Life Science, Shannon Taylor with high honors. And the certificate in Substance Abuse and Addiction Studies, Kathleen Smith with honors, and Calandra Willing with honors. Now we're going to, will you please give a round of applause to those students who were not able to be here today. Okay, now I'll recognize our graduates. The following students are earning an Associate of Arts in Early Childhood Education. Curtis Molisto. Elizabeth Palmatier. The following students are earning an Associate of Arts in Elementary Education. Cristel Castellano with high honors. Rachel Hendricks. Naomi Lupe with high honors. Reynalda Rubio. The following students are earning an Associate of Arts in Liberal Arts. Felicia Albert Tuleni with high honors. Rose Cruz with high honors. Ida Early with high honors. Lawrence Garcia. Natalie Manley with high honors. Francine Juan. The following students are earning an Associate of Arts in Life Science. Renika Raymond. Georgia Macy. Virginia Patton. The following students are earning an Associate of Applied Science in Business Management. Alicia Freeman with high honors. The following students are earning an Associate of Arts in Social Work. Brooke Cayerido with honors. Lorraine Haswood. Felicia Logan. Alisa Martin with honors. Stephanie Miguel. Carol Roman. Grace Salcido with honors. The following student is earning an Associate of Business in Business Administration, Jolie Taylor. The following students are earning their apprenticeship degree. Rocky Marks. Jeremy Tashwinton. The following student is earning an Associate of Arts in Topawa Studies. Laura Collier. The following student is earning the college credit pathway. Sherina Nelson with honors. The following students are earning a certificate in substance abuse and addiction studies. Marisol Cruz with high honors. Joanne Perkins. Agatha Guayu. Lorenzo Yazzi. The following student is earning a certificate in social services. Amarista Perez Chapman. Class of 2023, congratulations.
Thank you, Laura. Let's give them another round of applause. They deserve it. They deserve it. It's a good day. Class of 2023 here. Thank you very much. Very good. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Paul Robertson to the conferring of degrees.
Thanks, Jose. This is a really important symbolic moment, and by the power vested in me by the DOCC Board of Trustees and the Charter from the Topawa Nation, I'm able to confirm new graduates of the class of 2023. Congratulations, class of 2023, and now you can move your castle to the right side and move it to the left to signify.
Thank you, Dr. Robertson. If you all stand at this time, we are going to have our closing prayer by Mr. J. Wong. Mr. J. Wong.
Thank you. I want to thank the class for allowing me such a privilege and honor to give a closing blessing on you. And let's go to the Creator for a blessing.
Heavenly Creator, as we come before you, I thank you for all that are here, but especially the graduates, the path and the journey that they're on. And I pray that you would continue to keep your hand upon them and lead them and guide them in all that they do. That they would fulfill their purpose and bring honor and glory to your name. I thank you for the school, for the faculty, administration, employees, all those that supported and helped them along their way. I thank you for the families back home that were encouraging and supportive as well. Now, Father, I just ask that you would bless them, continue to be with them as they travel. All the family and friends, as we go from here, be with us. Give us safe travel. And all that we do, that we would bring honor and glory. Topawa.
Thank you, Mr. Dewan. If you remain standing, we're going to ask the Honorable veterans to retire the colors. If you'll remain standing. At this time, we're going to start the recessional, be led by the traditional singers, followed by the Board of Trustees, Mr. Jonas Robles, who's the elder, the president, faculty, and then the graduates, if you remain standing.
I